It is a hard knock life out here to find friends or couple friends that you can hang out when you old like us. We're going on 34 and you married and you got kids. It's hard to find couple friends.
What's up, real ones? Welcome back to the Relationship Podcast, where we're bringing the real back to relationships.
Yes, sir.
I'm Asha Steele.
I'm Devin Steele.
And we're so excited that you guys are tuning in today.
Yeah, we got another great episode for y'all. You know, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the feedback that we got from last episode. If y'all didn't listen to last episode, which we know y'all did, we interviewed a therapist, an intimacy expert, to really help people overcome some of the intimacy challenges that they may be having in their relationship. And the feedback was great because it related to a lot of people.
Yes.
Like one of the things that we try to do with this podcast is we talk about real topics. We bring on real experts to help people overcome those challenges that they're dealing with. And the fact is, when we started to look at the research of how many people are suffering from a sexless marriage or a marriages without physical intimacy, we knew that we had to have an episode where we discussed that topic. And to my surprise, like even when we posted stuff, whether it was on Instagram or on TikTok, a lot of people were sharing their experience in their relationship. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Y'all putting out a lot of information.
Yeah, a lot of personal stuff.
Yeah, but I think that the way that we show up on this podcast, the way that we're transparent and we share some of the things that we go through, it really gives a lot of people permission for them to share as well. But I didn't know people was really going to get in there like that and share what they're going through.
Yeah, I love it though. I love to be able to, that we created this platform to be able to share our experiences and bring on individuals that can give insight to things and resonate with other people as well so that they can feel like they're not alone, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful thing. And this, sometimes the conversations get a little bit of
it get deep,
personal. Yeah. But I think that's the beauty of it, because a lot of people out there may feel like they're in something by themselves, or they may be struggling trying to figure out how to navigate through stuff. So just to be able to have a community where so many people can resonate with each other and not only resonate, but receive resources that can be helpful to them is very important. So
yeah, I think we deserve a pat on our backs, right? Because I feel like people don't have to hide no more.
Yeah.
Like I feel like before, a lot of people were hiding the challenges that they were going through in their relationship.
Yeah.
And when you're not able to talk about it, because I think some of the first marriage advice we got is don't let nobody into your business. What happens in your house stays in the house. But it's like, well, what if things are going on in my house that I don't have the knowledge, the skills, or the tools to overcome?
Right.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Not everybody's comfortable going to counseling or going to therapists. So being able to have like a small social network that you can lean on in times where, you know, you're going through challenging stuff in your marriage, I think is really important. But like I said, I think that we deserve a pat on the back because people within our community, they're not hiding from those challenges. They're like, yeah, we're going through this just like y'all, and we're trying to find ways to overcome it because we really want this relationship to last. We want this marriage to last. So I'm glad that this podcast, this platform has provided that safe space for people to be like, you know what? We are going through a tough time in our marriage. We don't have to hide it, and we're willing to do the work to overcome it.
Yeah, definitely. So getting into our keeping it real moment, you guys. You want to keep it real about something?
Yes, it's on the same topic.
Okay. Let's keep it real. What's going on?
Not even on the video or the episode from last week, but, you know, certain clips that we have out there on Facebook, on Instagram, where I was talking about becoming a student of you. And once I became a student of you, you weren't as difficult to me as you was before that point. Like, you would see not women, but men in that comment section like, oh, nah, I'm not being no student of my woman. Like, I'm not doing all that. Or you didn't become a student of her. You just gave in and let her do certain things that she was doing before and just was like, oh, I can't get her to change. And it's like, but what are you talking about? Like, what do y'all really be talking about sometimes? Like, becoming a student of your partner is necessary in order for you to create a long-lasting relationship with somebody, because people should always be evolving. And if you're not in tune to how your partner is changing or certain things that they're going through, you can't really relate to them. You can't support them. You can't be the partner that they need through different moments of their life. So I don't see how being a student of your partner is being a simp. Or even if, I forget the other video we were talking about, but another woman agreed that like, yeah, he's just simping. She runs him. I'm like, yo, what are y'all talking about? Y'all are projecting on our relationship. If I felt some type of way, I would show up here and I would talk about those things. But the fact that people are seeing healthy dialogue between the couple, where it's not that toxicity where you're just going back and forth, you're butting heads. The fact that people can see negative in that, it lets me know how much emotional immaturity there is out there. And it makes me feel for people who are single right now, who have to choose from this dating pool, because it seems like people don't want to be able to coexist in the same space. People don't want others to have a say-so on how things are handled in their relationship. Men are like, oh, you got to get with my program or you got to be gone. Or women like, oh no, men, you have to be this certain type of person. You have to be packaged already ready when you meet me. And it's just like, you're not going to find that in life. So it's kind of crazy to see these type of comments out there when a couple is just having healthy dialogue amongst each other.
Yeah, I think social media nowadays is just very interesting and quite frankly weird. How some people like dissect certain things that individuals say or that they may see in a clip, or like you said, try to project certain emotions and energy onto other people that you may be experiencing. And I think, like you were saying, it's all about people exposing themselves to things outside of their own perspectives, outside of their own worlds. Like if you're used to the same thing, and like you were saying, if you don't want to change and if you don't want to learn and be a student of your partner, then you want to continue to stay the same. And realistically, that's not how life goes. Like we're constantly changing. So for you to be stagnant and not want to change and not want to learn about your partner moving forward and to grow with them, it says a lot about you. And I think once people really are able to open their eyes, and not even open their eyes, but just like open their minds and their hearts to be exposed to things outside of their norm, then it will shift their perspective and ultimately be beneficial to them. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your relationship. And if you don't want to take the advice of others that's giving you solid advice, giving you information and wisdom that's going to be beneficial to you, then you're putting yourself in a bad spot. So
and it's crazy because you can tell the people who are not in healthy marriages or relationships when they comment, because there's no way that you can take the ideologies that you have and put that into a relationship. It's something good comes out of it. And I said that to one woman who wrote something. I forget what she said. I was like, yo, you can just tell that you just aren't married, that you haven't found that true love, because you wouldn't have the perspective that you have. Like there's a lot of things that I changed. I wasn't forced to change, but you allowed me to see things in a different way. And I think that's what makes a great partner. If you meet somebody and they can't teach you anything new, they can't open up your perspective, open up your mind on different things, then why are you really with that person? Because your partner should be able to expand your thought process, how you perceive the world. And you did that for me, because there were certain things that I thought was okay that I was doing before in my previous dating life that were unacceptable to you. And I was able to see how what I was doing was wrong, and I made certain changes. Like there's certain ethics, there's certain morals and values that I wouldn't change for anybody. But if there's certain behaviors that I know doesn't really fit where I'm trying to go in my life, and you expose those things for me, and I'm like, yo, this is not me changing who I am in a bad way, but this is going to help me become a better man, a better leader, a better husband, a better dad. Of course, I'm going to make those changes. Like they don't want to make changes, the things that can benefit them. And like I said, it just makes you wonder what the dating pool out here is really like, because I feel like a lot of people are at war where it's like, it's either my way or the highway. And that does not work in a relationship. It doesn't work in a marriage.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a lot of compromise. There should be a lot of growth, but a lot of people don't see it that way. And it's crazy to see that.
Yeah, but hopefully, for those individuals, y'all that are on our social media pages, hopefully y'all listen, y'all continue to listen, y'all continue to open y'all minds and y'all perspective to new things and create that shift, because you want to find love, right? You want to find love, and you want to be able to love people and have them love you back genuinely. And when you're in that space of just like not willing to compromise, not willing to give a little, not willing to change, not willing to see things from outside of your own viewpoint, it's just like it's going to hinder you. And it's clearly, like you said, most people aren't in a relationship that are speaking from that standpoint. So when you're able to be in love and find love, it makes you change things. So hopefully just keep listening and y'all will get it together. Okay. But no, you guys. So let's get into this message from a real one. So the message says, I'm in a marriage and the guy is awesome as far as being a dad and a great provider, but I'm missing the emotional connection. We barely kiss or hug on an intimate level. Initially, we started dating. I had my wall up because we weren't serious and I dealt with tons of infidelity from him. I can tell that he's changed and he's a better guy, but I miss the emotional connection. When I mention it to him, he always reminds me of how I didn't want it when we first started dating. Am I asking too much from him? At this point, I don't know what to do. I'm miserable in that aspect and don't want to keep bringing it up because it seems like I'm nagging him and I'm ungrateful because he is a good guy. I'm starting to think that I'm the problem. Any guidance is appreciated.
I'll let you go ahead and attack that first.
Okay. So I would say that, like she was saying, when you're in a situation where you become withdrawn from a person emotionally or physically because of maybe the hurt that he had caused, what she said that with cheating, it's kind of hard for you to get back to that space of wanting to build that up, right? Mm-hmm. So when you get to that place and you have withdrawn from your partner, y'all both are like going opposite, right? Y'all growing opposite, and you may be growing closer. You may be like yearning for that because you see him doing things, and it may be taking him a lot longer because it's just like we pulled away from each other for so long that I don't know how to get back to that point. Right. And I feel like when we were in our relationship, when we had things going on, we got to a point where we was emotionally withdrawn and physically withdrawn from each other. And it actually took a lot of time. And we talked about it as well, how we were on two different levels as far as you may have been ready to get back to that emotional connection and get back to that physical connection. But because I was further along in my process or further back in my process, I wasn't ready for that, right? And so I think it's just understanding that y'all are on not two different planets, but y'all are in two different spaces, right? Mm-hmm. From things that have transpired in your relationship. So I think just having a conversation with him and being intentional about your conversation is not necessarily considered nagging, right? Yeah. If you go in and you're genuinely saying that I love you, I see that you have changed, but this is something that I want us to continue to work on because I feel like we don't have that emotional connection and I'm yearning for it. It's all about how you approach the conversation, right? Because maybe she's in a space where she's upset by it because she doesn't have that, and maybe it may come off harsh or they may get into an argument about it. I was thinking the same thing. And he may take that approach like, oh, now, it's something else I've been trying to change. And that's where she's thinking she's nagging because it's causing tension or causing an argument. But if you sit down and you're having a very intentional conversation and you're coming from a place of love, I feel like you can't really look at someone as is nagging. You see that she really wants that from him. If y'all both love each other and y'all in this relationship, you will want to grow and want to change that dynamic. So I think just having that conversation and being intentional about it could just be a starting point for them.
Yeah, I love that you brought up that point because he may consider it nagging. Because if you think about it, if she's been trying to get him to be emotionally vulnerable with her for so long, like it may have started off as a good conversation. Mm-hmm. And now she's at a point of frustration. Like she said, she's miserable. Right. So a lot of times people display that misery with anger or criticism or contempt. So like you said, it's all about how you are actually approaching the situation. Mm-hmm. But I also want to just relay a message to her that just because you're a good person, it doesn't make you a good partner. Like he may be a good guy, he may be a good dad, But if he's not showing up in a way in which you need him in your relationship or your marriage, he might not necessarily be a good partner.
Right.
And I can say that because there was a point in time where, yeah, I'm a good dude, I'm a good dad, but I wasn't showing up for you in the way that you wanted me to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you can just neglect, the things that I wasn't doing or was doing towards you, and just be like, well, he's a good man. He takes care of his family. He takes care of our kids. But if your emotional tank is not being filled up, you're still going to be depleted, and you're going to be in a place of misery. And nobody wants to be in a relationship where they're miserable.
Right.
So yes, that person may be a good man. They may be a good woman, but are you a good partner? And how you measure whether somebody is a good partner is if they are able to see the pain and the hurt that you're going through, and they're willing to put in the work and take accountability for the things that they did to cause that hurt and the pain, and then you make a shift. But there's a lot of different questions that I would have for that message. Number one is, she talked about how in the beginning when they were dating, she had up this wall because they weren't serious.
Right.
So was this wall a result of y'all not being serious or a result of his infidelity? Did you not want him to be emotional with you before, so he found another place to seek that emotional connection? There's a lot that really goes on to it. And the reason why I bring that up is because if this started off in the beginning where you weren't really open with him emotionally, you didn't want to hug, you didn't want to kiss, like we talked about in episodes before, that's like putting writing in wet cement. Like, you put in that wet cement early on in your relationship that I don't want to be physically intimate with you. And if you would have caught that early on and be like, no, I know this is how we start off, but I want things to change, you can just wipe that wet cement and start all over again. But if you did this for a long period of time and that set into that concrete, like, these are habits that y'all created in your relationship, in your marriage, that's not easily broken. And you may not have the tools to fix it. Like, you had those conversations, it didn't work. So now it's time to really bring in those professionals, like the expert that we had last week on our show, that can tell you where you went wrong and how you can correct things in your relationship. Otherwise, you're just going to be trying anything. It is not the most effective method in order to increase the physical and emotional intimacy in your relationship. So I would definitely seek professional help at this time, because if you've been doing this for this long period of time, it's not going to change overnight.
Yeah. Hopefully that can be of assistance for y'all. Y'all can get to a space where y'all are both fulfilled, emotionally and physically.
Yeah. So let's get into today's topic. Before we even talk about the topic, we just want to play a video that we saw online on YouTube that has over 9 million views.
Yes.
And what those views tell me is that a lot of couples are dealing with this. So we're going to dedicate this episode to all those couples out there that are just like us. So let's go ahead and play this video really quick.
It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life for us. Statutory dads, we get tricked. Statutory dads, we get kicked. It's the hard knock life.
Listen to us.
I can't.
They are us and we are them.
Okay.
It is a hard knock life out here to find friends or couple friends that you can hang out when you old like us. We're going on 34 and you married and you got kids. It's hard to find couple friends.
It is. Friends. How many of us have them?
Not us.
Friends.
Not enough. Not enough. And clearly with 9 million views and all those comments, a lot of people are struggling in that area of finding couple friends.
Yeah. I think it's a conversation. It's funny to me, like, even seeing that video, because how many people actually can like identify with that. And we've had this conversation several times, right? And it's so interesting that you would think that it would be a lot easier to be able to find a couple friends. But I feel like once you're in a relationship, once you're older and you're an adult and you're more mature, it gets harder to be able to really find solid couple friends.
Yeah. What? So why do you think that we have struggled in that area? Because I can tell you why I think that we struggled. Number one, being in the NFL and playing for two different teams, like you move around a lot. Like during the season, we were in Cincinnati. Soon as the season ended, we moved back to Delaware. We moved to Philly, and then we'll go back to Cincinnati. And then when I left, we went to New Jersey, and then we went to Texas. So it's like when you're not in a place for a long time, it's hard to really build those relationships, because even on an NFL team, you'll see a teammate one day, the next minute he's traded to another team or he's cut. So it's kind of hard to really build up those relationships when you're in the sports world or even in an entertainment space, period. Like for those of you who watch shows or watch movies and it just seems like the Real Housewives or whatever, basketball wise, it's like they all seem fake pretty much, be doing stuff behind each other back. It's like that's how the entertainment industry in Hollywood really is. Like you don't know who is really genuine. So it's kind of hard to expose your family to people who you feel like are not genuine.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just finding a quality, well-rounded, grounded people that identify with the same things that you identify with, that have similar morals and values. It's a whole checklist. Like I feel like when you're younger and you make friends, it's so much easier, right?
It's about partying.
Right, not even just that, but it's just like, oh, we can have a good time. We can have a good time, but it's like once you're in a relationship and you're looking for couples, there's no longer just you and one other person, right? You have to also think about your partner and how your partner gets along with that person's spouse, because you can go out and find, oh, hey, we have a good time, we get along. But if their spouse doesn't get along with your spouse, it makes things difficult. Also, you got to factor in like your children, like if they have children or if they don't have children, because if they're able to go out and have a good time and just hop on a jet and go over here, go over there, we can do that, but we don't have a babysitter, So it's like so many things that you have to factor in that just it goes into you having like a solid couple friendship. Yeah. And I think that's like the biggest thing for us, right?
Yeah. One of the reason why I said it's just about going out and having fun is because for me, just like being in college, if I was able to go out, we're able to go to live, we're able to go to dreams, we're able to, like wherever we're able to go, we just having a good time. It's like, you my friend, you my best friend. But now I'm at an age where it's like, yo, we got to be able to have some deep conversations, because like this, at this point in my life, turning 34, it's just like, I got a real family. I'm striving to do big things in my life that if we can't have those type of conversations that elevate my mind, like, of course I want to be able to go out and have fun, but if we can't really talk about that real stuff, then it's kind of hard for me to build a relationship with somebody. But even still, like me being a man, I think, and I don't know if this is true, you can let me know, but I feel like women can make friends easier than men. Like, I'm not saying it's easy for women at this stage in life, but I think it's easier for y'all than it is for men, because we don't really like to open up to other people. It's kind of hard for us to trust other people once we get to a certain age, and we just block ourselves off. And I don't know, it just makes it hard. Like I'm at a point where I'm not yearning for new friends. Yeah. Like I have childhood friends, but when you moved across the country, it's like different, because you want people to go out with that you are in the same city as you. But I find it hard for me to be trusting of other people at this stage in my life. And even when you look at the craziness on social media, like you see videos all the time about friends who done slept with the husband or slept with the wife, and it's just like, yo, do you really want to open up and expose your marriage to new people who don't have the same values, like you said, don't have the same morals, and then they're just trying to infiltrate your marriage? Like that's kind of hard to do when you see those kind of videos online.
Yeah. I think for some women it may be easier. I feel like overall it's probably the same, just because when you get to a certain age, it's just like we were saying, you have a different mindset. Yeah. For me personally, I feel like the Asha that I was in my 20s is nowhere near the Asha that I am in my 30s.
Who was you in your 20s?
I'm not looking to go
Who
out.
was your, no.
I'm
Who was-
explaining it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not looking to like go out and party. I'm not looking to go out and just
You was
have a good
partying like that?
time. Right. Like I was. Most people in their 20s is like you can go to the club, you can go if you want to go on vacation and hop on a flight or stuff like that. Like
Right.
so it's like you don't move the same way, right? And although you can still go out and have a good time, there's so many other factors that you have to put into it. Like even with our spirituality and our religion, like I'm factoring that in. In my 20s, I wasn't as deep into my religion as I am now. So it's like I have so many things that I'm factoring in as far as, oh, does this person align with my values? Do they align with my beliefs? Do they align with, are they family oriented? Because that's something that's big for me as well. So I'm looking at all of these different factors and I'm like, okay, whereas, she seems like a nice woman. We could get along. We can go have, mocktails before, because I'm not drinking, with the nursing situation, but we can go out and have a good time. And it's just like, but is this something someone that I can really see myself building a solid relationship with, a solid foundation and friendship with? Because when you're thinking of couple friends, it's like it's really valuable to you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to think about how you're going through things in your relationship with your partner, and having a solid couple friend can really dictate how things go in your relationship in a sense, right?
Have an influence.
Have a huge influence on it, good or bad, if you're picking the wrong friends. And I think that's so important now at this age to me, because it's just like, whereas before I wouldn't necessarily put so much thought into that.
Yeah. If you was to, let's just say, because you know how they say women have the list for the man that they want. If you was to have the list for the perfect couple friends, what would that list look like?
Well, first I would say they have to be family oriented. We're really big on that. Like family comes first. Like our family is our priority. And so our number one priority, our first priority. So I think if you're not aligned in that same way, it's going to be kind of challenging. And it's not even just, as far as children, like if they don't have children right now, or if they have young children, they're trying to maneuver it. It's just that you value family as much as we do, right? Because it's really important. And that goes into even with them, their spouse, right? If you're honoring, you're respecting, you're loving your spouse, and you value that relationship, I'm not going to have to be worried if we go out and it might be some little sidebar stuff going on. And I'm looking like, girl, what you got going on? Like, what you get into? Because I don't want that around me. You know what I mean? And that it says a lot about someone's character. So I think just showing that you have those values, that you have that respect and that love and that honor for your spouse is my top of the list, right?
Keep going.
Keep going.
What else you got?
I mean, it's not too detailed. I'm not like, oh, y'all gotta look like this and y'all gotta do that. No, I just want someone that's really like respectable. And I think another big thing for us is someone who, I guess, understands the position that we're in, right? Because I think the biggest thing for me, I would say personally, with going out and meeting new people, is that because we're on a certain platform or we have a certain identity,
level of notoriety.
Yeah, it's hard to really get to know people and receive them and know that they have good intentions, right? It's not any ill intentions.
Right.
So just finding genuine people that, want to build a genuine relationship that's not around just for the perks or what's going on is really, really important as well. Because it's just like like we said, even in a relationship, you can be up in the highs of the highs, or you could be down in the lows and the lows. That's how life goes. You never know what season you're going to be in. And if you have someone that's around just to hop on a bandwagon and be around because they think you up here and they can mix and mingle with this person or do this, that, and the third, then that's not really a genuine friendship that I would want to be around. So
yeah, that I think, our level of notoriety definitely makes it hard. I think it's just like, even like if you're talking about romantic relationships, you normally see people who are celebrities dating other celebrities, just because I think it makes it easier. It may not be the healthiest of relationships, but you feel like they understand your life a little bit better and they're not necessarily there for what they can gain from you, where you may be looking at somebody who's not on that same level. Like, do they really like me, or are they just here because they want to be around this lifestyle that I'm living? So that does make it hard. But as I said earlier in the podcast, like Hollywood entertainment, it's all fake anyway. So it was just like, I don't know, it just makes it hard to find people who are genuine. I know for me, if I had a list, it would be like you said, number one, you family oriented, you respect marriage, you respect your own marriage. Y'all got to be striving to do something, because I want to be friends with people who we can push each other
Right.
in a healthy way, whether that's in business or just in family life in general, spirituality. Like we got to be able to help uplift each other. And I think the major one is that you're just not a gossiper.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to be around people who just gossip all the time, because if you're sharing, if you're sharing information with me or with us about another couple that you friends with, what makes you think that I don't think you're taking my information or taking my business and sharing it with other people? So I don't like none of that gossiping stuff. I want people who take care of their kids, who take care of each other, who know how to good time, and who are just know how to have a good time, and just wanted to enjoy life.
Yeah.
But it's hard out here, because I don't. It's hard for me to trust, bro. I got trust issues for real.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is the trust factor. With a lot of people, just trusting new people in your life. I feel like when we're younger, you're not so much focused on that trust factor, because it's just like, it's kind of like it come and goes. It's so you're just moving, right?
Yeah.
And I think that because of that, it actually has a negative effect, because you start to build up that wall over the years of not being able to trust people or not knowing how to trust people, because so many people have let you down. So once you get to this space, it's like, I have too much to lose. Like, I have too much that you can be exposed to. Like, you're exposed to my family, or exposed to my children, my husband, my relatives, my mom, my dad. Like, you get exposed to so many people and so many different factors of someone's life. And it's just like, I don't want to just expose that to anyone,
Yeah. But the crazy thing is, of course, I think with anything good in life, it comes with risk.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
But I think finding friendships, it got to be as calculated as possible.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you're letting them into such a space that's so personal, that's so sacred. You have to make a calculated risk when you do this, because the benefits definitely outweigh the negatives. Like, as far as what you will get, we all know that positive relationships have a huge impact on our well-being. When you're friends with other couples, the research shows that you have higher levels of marital quality. You're around other people who can help you set norms for your relationship, let you know what's acceptable. I think that that's what's so important about having people who have the same values as us, because let's just say if we go out and we do something, we're not putting each other in a bad situation where something can go wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you're setting norms. I think it protects, or the research says that it protects against divorce, because if, let's just say, you don't have a strong social network of couple friends, and you're going through something challenging in your relationship, and your first thought is, nah, I'm done with this, I'm getting a divorce, I'm leaving. Like, you'll just go ahead and do it, because there's nobody to really talk to. But if you're going through a tough time and you have a friend who's been married, has been married just as long as you, they understand the struggles and the challenges that come with marriage, and you like, yo, we're dealing with this, I'm about to leave. They're like, nah, like, no, don't think this thing through. Don't just go off of impulse. Like, how can you really work through this? So they act as a buffer when it comes to, you guys separating or getting a divorce, and just assistance. So let's say that me and you, we don't go out a lot together as a couple because we have 3 kids. So it's hard to really find time. If you have couple friends that have kids, you can leave your kids with them so that you're able to pour into your relationship. They're able to leave their kids with you so that they can pour into their relationship as well. So there's a lot of benefits that really come with this, sharing information, sharing resources with each other. Like, hey, I just went to this marriage conference not too long ago. This is what I learned. Maybe y'all should try to, maybe you should go to this conference as well. So you're able to just bounce things off of each other. So the benefits definitely outweigh the risk, but it's just like, it's hard out here for a pimp. I don't know if I really want to do this. But when you look at the research, a lot of couples struggle to do this. And, the research identifies 3 types of couples. So we would love to hear what kind of couple you think you are. But the first type of couple are seekers, which are, extroverted people. They're very interested in meeting new couples. The second type of couple are keepers. They're content with the couple friends that they have, but they're open to new relationships. It's not like they're out there seeking it, but if it just comes about, then they have no problem, befriending other people. And then there's the nesters, who are introverted, and they're content with staying within a small, very small circle of friends and not really interested in making new couple friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is interesting how, they're able to break couples down into those three categories, but there are couples out there who are composed of people who come from different categories. So you may have somebody who's a seeker in a marriage or in a relationship with somebody who's a nester. Mm-hmm. And in those type of situations, you have to come to a compromise where the nester, who's an introvert, has to socialize a little bit more than they're comfortable with doing, so they can meet the needs of their partner, who's a seeker, who's just out there and about trying to make friends with everybody at the grocery store, at the gas station, in a drive-through somewhere. But those seekers have to pull back on their socialization just a little bit more so that they can actually fit the needs inside of a relationship. But when you look at those, do you think that we are under one category, or do you think that me and you, we fit different categories?
I would definitely say that we kind of fit between keepers and nesters.
Both of as a team, as a couple, or individuals?
So I feel like, I feel like I'm more so, or have been, like when I think of introvert, more so me. Devin likes to claim that he's an introvert, but I don't really
I'm an introvert.
I definitely feel like he's more like the extrovert one, right? And so we have a couple friends that we have and we go out with and we hang out with, but when trying, I don't really feel like we are too much seekers. Like, I don't think it's like,
I ain't seeking it.
We're just out here looking for a whole bunch of new friends. It's definitely
pick me.
Definitely keepers, because I feel like the quality friends that we have now that are couples is just like, okay, we're gonna keep them. We enjoy, our conversation and good time around them. Our families is good around them. We can all, have a good time. Nesters, I feel like we were in that phase, right? Kind of
we were
like
definitely in that phase.
I don't know if we want to get outside too much and meet these people, because there's so many things, like I said, that you're factoring in. Like, you have to factor in your family, and you get comfortable, and it's just like, oh, I'm good with who I know. I'm good with the friends that I have. I'm good with, those relationships that we have, that we built up. We don't really need too much more, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you said, having those friends around you and having quality friends around you, especially with us now being so far away from home, or from where we were raised and born, that a lot of our friends are back up north, right? A lot of our families back up north. So having those quality friendships around us now is really important, right? Because like you said, being able to go out and have that community and that village around you, if you do need to go out and have that alone time with your partner, and you have someone that's solid that you trust to be around your children, is really big. And so that, and amongst other things, I think that's why we kind of went along ahead to the keepers. Like, okay, well, we got who we got. We can meet new friends. We ain't doing too much, you know? So, yeah.
No, I agree. I think that we started off as nesters, especially when we came out of the situation with Leah, because I know for me, I struggled with relationships during that time because I didn't feel like certain people showed up for me in a way in which I thought they would. So it was kind of hard for me to allow other people into my life again, because it's honestly, it's that fear of being let down and being hurt again. Like, if, all right, people from my past didn't show up the way that I thought they would, and we had this, real connection, then what I'm going to get from new relationships?
Right.
So it's like, I was in that place where I'm just a nester. I'm content with who I got. I'm like Drake, no new friends. Like, I don't want that in my life at this point. But then you do realize when you're not close to those people anymore because you moved away, it's like, I can't go through this. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be able to relate to people. You want to be able to go out and hang out with people, but it's just so hard to find good quality friends who you think that you want to bring into your house. Like, it's a lot. You was about to say something. You was about to go on or something?
No, I just think like what you said is it's hard to find, but like you were saying, it's really important to have those quality friendships. It's very beneficial because like we were saying, when you don't have that, it makes things so much more difficult, right? Like if you need to connect with your partner, like we were saying with the message from the real one, people feel like they're not emotionally connected with their partner. Well, we need time to go out and, get back to that space.
It's
Or
kind
we
of
need
hard to do that without.
If we have the children, we're so focused on the children and the work and housework and doing all these things, we don't have the space or the opportunity to really have that one-on-one time with our partners. Or even if it is like going on a vacation and just taking a few days away and it just carving out for you and your partner, it's hard when you don't have that community or friendship around you. So I think that's why it's really important to have those couple friends. It's beneficial to you. But not only that, like we were saying with the relationship factor of when you're going through something, you have those people there that give you that solid foundation, that solid information to make sure that you stay grounded in your relationship is really important. So I think when finding or seeking, not even finding, I think being a seeker is probably important, right? A keeper, a seeker, just because you want to be able to open yourself up to new individuals and new perspectives and everything like that. So what are some ways that you think that people can go from nesters to maybe ease their way into keepers and seekers?
I don't know, because I don't want it. It's like, no, before we get into that, because I know you did a lot of research on how, couples can befriend other couples. There's another benefit that I wanted to talk about before we jump into that point, because when I was doing my research on this topic, I came across this really interesting research article. I think it was when Dick and Jane met, I don't know, Harry and somebody, right? And they was talking about how befriending, when you have a large social network of quality couple friends, again, it increases your marriage quality, your marital satisfaction. And one of the ways that it does that is, number one, they have this self-expansion theory, which they related back to when you're in the dating phase, the first year you're with your partner. It's so fresh, it's so new, it's so exciting because you're getting to learn a new person. And when you already have your own identity, you start to take on the identity of this new person, of your new partner, their ideologies, their beliefs, their the things that they like to do in life. So it's so exciting. But then when you get around that 2-year mark where people are just bored with their relationship, a lot of that is because that self-expansion has slowed down, because you're not really learning a lot about your partner anymore. So when you're meeting new couple friends, what that does is the type of conversations that you have amongst each other, sometimes you learn more about your partner than you did before. So it makes you feel closer to your partner because now you're learning more about them and you're doing something new with them. You're meeting new people. And then as a couple, you start to, again, self-expand with that new couple because they may have certain ideologies or certain perspectives on life, so that y'all become so close when you have a certain level of conversation. So the benefits are there. I think in the future, me and you are going to have certain events where we have some type of speed dating with couples based on this research to help them build those connections. But I'm going to let you get into how people can do it right now, because we haven't tested out any of this stuff as far as meeting new couple friends, but we just want to be able to give y'all the information, and we're going to try it and let you know how this goes.
Yeah. So I think to start off, I think one of the things that you can do to just start to meet new people and introduce yourself to new people is going to mutual friendships that you already have, right? So a lot of times, like we said, the season that you're in with some friends, you may have to move past it, right? They're there for the season, you get to know them, but then sometimes, unfortunately, we outgrow individuals. But the friends that you do have that are solid and that have been around you through every storm, maybe going to those friendships and allowing yourself to be around events that's going on, social groups with them as well, right? So,
or they can make an introduction to it,
right? They can be introduced, or you can be introduced to friends through them as well, because the type of person that they are, the qualities that they have. So it's like, okay, well, we align. We've always been friends. We get along. So they have other friends that you may not be as close with or know or anything like that. And that's the introduction to meeting new people as well.
Let me ask you a question about this.
Okay.
So let's say that you have a couple friends, y'all like best couple friends, right?
Mhm.
Y'all hang out all the time, y'all talk, y'all do stuff together, y'all go on vacation together, and they like, I got this other couple that I think you may like as well.
Mhm.
And then now y'all start to hang out together, y'all start to go on trips together. And I'm asking you because you're a woman, right? And I feel like y'all are very protective over y'all best friends. If y'all have a best friend and then you introduce them to another friend and then they start acting like best friends, you feel some type of way. So do you think that happens in couples relationships where they introduce you to somebody and then now y'all the ones posted on the gram doing stuff together and they may feel some type of way?
I'm sure it probably does happen, but I think that that's where it comes into play, where it's like, okay, we got to be grateful that we put these two couples together.
matchmakers.
And you know what? They're getting along. And don't leave the other couple hanging. Like,
Right.
don't leave that individual or couple hanging. Let them, be included. And, we all be friends and we all hang out. We all have a good time. I think that's the important part of it, is because to me, it's not even necessarily about the quantity as much as it is about the quality. So if we
Right.
have quality couple friends that maybe is a small knit group, that's way more important than having a huge amount of friends, couple friends that we can, do all of these things with. So I think if it is that's the case, just understand like, oh, okay, they're having a good time. They're getting to know each other. That's nice. I knew this was a great couple. That's why I introduced them and let them, enjoy themselves.
Sounds good. What's some other stuff? What's some other stuff that people can do?
So to me, I feel like it can kind of go either way, but online is a way that some people can meet couple friends.
Okay.
Now, okay, granted, a lot of times you look online, look on social media, you feel like people can put up a facade, right? And everything is not real, which is true. But I feel like that the beauty of social media, it allows us to see things beforehand, right?
Mhm.
Whereas when before that was the case, we have to go out, maybe if it's someone that we meet at the grocery store, or we meet at work, or we meet, at the gym or something like that, and passing that will have to be so close knit to us that we didn't really have the opportunity to reach people all the way across town in the same state, because we wasn't in that close proximity of them. And so I think that's the beauty about being online, is that you can easily go and type in some things that you find interesting, and oh, this couple is interested in this, and let me kind of check them out. Now, like I said, you don't know if it's a facade or not, so that's where you got to meet them outside of the social media. But I think that's a really it gives you a leg up.
So how do you go about that? Like, all right, let's say that you on Instagram and you scroll and you like, oh, this seems like a pretty cool couple. I would like to hang out with them. Do you shoot them a DM like, hey, y'all want to be friends?
Now,
or do you just start going through their page, liking all their couple pictures? Like, how do you spark that relationship on social media?
Listen, I have not personally done this, okay? But I feel like just engaging, don't just go in the DMs. I feel like that might be a little awkward, and I've experienced that, where it's just like people like try to reach out to be friends through DMs, and it always seems a little bit like, I don't know about that.
So how do they start off with that conversation?
It's some messages have been like, hey, my name's such and such. I'm in the area, you seem interesting. Like,
really?
like we're into the same things, or it seems like we're into the same things, or you're a mom, I'm a mom. We can hook up or chat or get to know each other.
Get a coffee.
Yeah, something like that.
Go to the dog park.
For some people, that may be cool,
Don't hop in my DM like that. Yo.
But for other people, they might be like, I don't know about this. So, you just kind of got to feel it out a little bit. I would say personally, I think if you see a couple or an individual, most of the time you're not sitting there with your husband or your wife like, oh, here's a couple friend,
I don't know. There might be people out there.
Usually it's
what you think about them, babe?
Maybe. I don't know. But usually it's one particular person that's looking, right? So if you see someone on social media, and like I said, if you're writing in nowadays, you can just type in anything and what you're looking for will pop up, right?
What you
so
gonna
if you're
type in?
looking for, moms with, toddlers, or moms that are into this, then the third, or whatever the case may be, being able to type it in that's in your area and like, oh, look, okay, well, that they look interesting. Let me follow them. kind of engage, so they can see your presence a little bit and then notice what you're doing and then work your way into that. It could be helpful. I don't know. Y'all gonna have to try it. People will be on other dating sites just swiping left and right. So,
Right.
You just got to try and see what works out for you. But I think that could be a start for some people as well, just to start to meet new people.
All right, what else you got for us? So those who think meeting couples on social media is weird, they don't have no friends to even introduce them to new friends.
Yeah.
What do you do then?
I think going back to, the good old how you used to do it, the good old back in the day way, right? The people that you interact with on a regular basis. So if it's meeting people at your church or meeting people that you work with, even people that your children may go to school with. I think that was a big one.
But they all look, like when we drop them off, they all look older than us.
Okay.
You don't see that?
That's not everybody's situation.
I'm just saying for us though, like when I go drop Aria off, like it seems like the
looks
people
could
who
be deceiving. Maybe they putting them through the ringer.
Probably, but I be feeling like, yo, why we look so young? Like even when Leah was at school, she was like that. She would be talking to her friends and be like, yeah, my parents are 34. And they'd be like, well, my parents are like 50 or in their high 40s. Just like, yo, what is going on? Like, are we not in the same right schools? Like, what's going on? Why am I not seeing other parents my age when I drop my kids off?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it just depends on the season that parent, maybe they had children younger. And now you in a phase where you had children a little bit older and y'all not aligning, right? Yeah. But even if that's the case, then like I said, you got your work option, you got church, you got different places where you're interacting with people that you know on a regular basis. Right. And then it allows you to, get to know, oh, hey. And most of the times, like when you're in those areas, a lot of times there's times where you have the opportunity to meet those individuals' families, right? So if you're at work and you have a work gathering where they say, oh, invite your family, then they come in and you can kind of fill out people's families and get to know them that way. Or the same thing, if you're at church, most of the time people are bringing their families to church, so you can kind of get involved and get to know them as well, and so on. So I think just going back to how we used to do it before social media, just having to interact with those individuals that's around you allows you to get to know and get outside of just your regular friend group. Okay. So those are a few things, but I just think that, like I said, like we were saying, the video, it was so funny because, like you said, so many people had liked it and interacted with it and resonated with it. It's just like, well, dang. If we all out here feeling the same way, we're going to have to figure this out.
We're going to have to do something about it.
Right.
Well, I'm telling you, when we are really going to take this research and try to make an event down here in Houston where couples can meet other couples, we are definitely going to do that because we're clearly not the only ones who are struggling in that department. We might even make a couple of friends when we have this event. Who knows?
Yeah, so
it's definitely something that we probably need to put more effort into. I don't know which one we're going to try with this. Probably for me, social events will probably be the best place for us to meet friends, because if we went through mutual friends, they all up north like that, except for we have one really close couple down here that we deal with. Online, I ain't feeling that. I ain't feeling somebody jumping my DMs talking about, I think that we got a lot of things alike and maybe we can hang out as couple friends. I'm not feeling that either. Work, we ain't got no job. We self-employed. So what, I'm going to go through you? And then school, again, I already told my thoughts about school. So I don't know. I think we're going to have to get out here more, go through social events, have our own events, and try to meet some couples.
For sure. But before we go, you guys, this weekend is Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, shout out to all y'all.
Give a Father's Day shout out to all the fathers out there. But I wanted to give a special shout out to you.
Okay. Give my flowers, girl. Early.
No, because, a lot of people see you on social media and they can see how great of a father you are. But like we said, social media is a facade. So people may be thinking, no, I'm just kidding.
There may be some people out there that think that.
No, that is true. But no, to clear up, I just wanted to say how amazing of a father you are on social media and off social media. It's not just a facade. It's not just putting up a front. Like, you really go above and beyond for your children, you set a standard, and not even just a standard, like it's just the values that you instill and the character that you show as a man to your daughters is so important, because it allows them to see the true value of having a great man in your life, right?
Yeah.
And not even just from a father-daughter aspect, but when they grow up and they know the qualities to look for in a great man that they seen exhibited in their dad. And I think that's really important, that you constantly strive to show them greatness, that you're always constantly trying to be hands-on with them, interactive with them, making sure that they feel loved and seen and hearing them. Because a lot of times people expect that when you do have girls, that's the mom's job, right? The mom is always interacting and having those little nurturing moments, but to see you in that position as a dad is really big. And I just have to applaud you for that, because I didn't see that as often as I feel like I should have. Not even just with me, but with a lot of people around me. So seeing it firsthand with you and witness it with how you do that with our daughters, it's an amazing experience to me. And I think that it's going to really make them out to be great women in the long run, because they have such a great man that's raising them.
You must be trying to have another baby, huh?
You know what?
No,
I can't.
no, I appreciate you saying that, because it means a lot coming from your partner when they recognize the effort that you try to put in to show up and be there for your children. I know it brings you peace of mind, like, okay, I made the right choice too, because probably a lot of people don't have that feeling. So I appreciate you sharing that, not just with me, but with the world, because it means a lot. Like, I see it all the time in my comments and messages from people. But when it comes from your significant other, when it comes from your spouse, it means way more than what people say online. So I'm going to continue to show up, do what I need to do for our family and for all the other fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. Continue to show up, continue to be a present, not just be present in your child's life, but actually make an impact on their life, because we mean so much to them. We mean so much. And I know that, because like when my daughters, like if I'm like, I just went on a trip, right? To Penn State to speak at an event. And when I came back home, like my kids were so excited to see me, telling me how much they miss me, how they don't ever want me to leave again, how much they love. Like, my kids tell me that all the time, which is different from when I grew up. Like my kids out of nowhere, they'll just be like, I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. Of course, Maya can't say it, but I know the way she look at me, that she loved me. You know what I mean? But when they wake up in the morning, the way they run over to us in the bed and just give us a hug and just give me a kiss, it's like, yo, we're doing something right. Like, I know the impact that I'm having in their life as a father. So shout out to all the fathers that's out there right now making an impact in your kid's life. If you are struggling in that area, man, you got to make the decision to just step it up. Like, you really can't go back in the past and fix anything that you've done in the past, but you can always change how you move going forward, and just reach out. And you may not ever, get a response for them, but the fact that you actually put in the effort to reach out to try to be in their life is extremely important. So shout out to all the dads out there that's doing their thing and making an impact in their child's life. I hope that this Father's Day is a special one for you.
Yes. So we hope you guys enjoy this episode, and until next time, keep it real.
Yes, sir.